Brilliant Corners is the title of an album by Thelonious Monk, the jazz musician. It's a music I'm fascinated by, and especially this album was kind of following me along the period when we were working on that piece, and it kind of like stayed. I think something about the game, the word game in Brilliant Corners, because basically it means nothing. If you try to kind of verbalize it and what does Brilliant Corners mean, it means nothing. But it's so precise. When you say it, you have an immediate feel. And that's a little bit the thing with dance. You know, if you try to verbalize it, it falls apart. It doesn't mean anything. But if you just take it as it is, it makes so much sense. You don't need to go further. So I like that that analogy to the way we kind of think and experience dance. The way I see choreography is not as something that I pre-plan and then come meet the dancers and try to follow a certain plan or reach a certain vision that I have. But it's more of, it's an emerging system. That means that it's something that really emerges through the process of working. Okay, so we basically go into the process with a lot of tools, but we don't go with any kind of fixed idea. We don't go with any kind of end image of how it's going to look or what it's going to feel like or where we're going to go. But we just go in with those tools. And those tools were obviously something that, since I work with the same group of dancers for a long time, is something we work on and elaborate along the years. And then when we start a new piece, basically we just start from kind of where we ended the last thing we did. And we just keep on going. So it's one long process, and then you can say that each piece is just like a glimpse into where we were at a certain point along that process, but it's very linked as a whole. I don't create group patterns or solos. It's not me that does it. It happens. I can decide to keep certain things or not, but it's not okay. Now let's do a solo. Now let's do group things. There's certain amount of rules we go into each session, and then those rules basically will generate a certain choreography as a result of what the dancers, or how they will choose to follow those rules, to react to them. And they will make different choices, and they will make different choices each day, and they're individually very different. So sometimes what comes out of it is a solo, sometimes it's a group part, sometimes suddenly it's there 2 or 3, but it's not, none of this is pre-decided. Also, okay, let's do solos, and now you do a solo, you do it's never happens like it just happens. Yes, because, for example, they all worked on the same thing, but one just did it like much longer than the others. They just finished their stuff, but they all did the same thing, but he still have like 3 minutes left. Suddenly he has a solo, but nobody knew it's gonna be him that will stay longer than the other and basically will suddenly have a solo. It's just because he translated the task a bit differently, and it took him a bit more time to develop what he did. And then instead of doing like a 2-minute thing like the other, he did a 3-minute thing. Suddenly you have a 1-minute solo, but it's not me that decided, okay, you're gonna get the solo. Yeah. Everything is meant in the sense that they have certain ways of working together and aligning their information, their choreographic information in relation to each other. They might do it differently every time. They might take different choices, but it's never accidental. What is accidental is the fact that there's quite a big space for spontaneous reaction. So that means even though they know exactly what they're going to do, and they know kind of exactly what the others are going to do, still it's very open. But because they're so linked in the way it's built, it takes one to change a little bit, do something a bit slower or a bit more to the right or a bit more to the left, and immediately all the others react. And then that will bring a lot of changes all the way back to the last one in the group. But so they are linked, but they're not linked in the sense that, okay, we're all going to do the same thing at the same time. But what the thing that is set is how they are aligned. What is the pattern, or what is the tool that align them? Like what kind of method they are using in order to put their information in relation, some kind of relation to the material of the others. And those things are set, but the result can be very different each time. they have so much information to work with and to digest and to take into consideration. They have to look to see what the others are doing, because it's not set. It's set, but it's not. So that means if it's going to go a second earlier or 2 seconds later, they have to look at him to be sure when it's going to happen. So it's very pragmatic. The thing is that the group is built in a way that they're totally interconnected and related. They cannot just like move. Yes, everything they do is in some counterpoint to the others, and they know this counterpoint and they have to work with it. They are free to take it a bit differently. So if it was like this, they can decide to do it like this. But still, they have to put it in some, they cannot just move, they have to put it in relation all the time. So it's a musical, there's the musical timing aspects, there's the spatial aspects relating to space, directions, etc. So. probably each one see in it what he wants to see, and the same performance can be really interpreted in very different ways by different people in the audience. So yeah, you can see solitude, but as you said, somebody can translate it as freedom, and both work for me. It's not like I have the official version of what it means. Well, I see those three things, the choreography, the light, and the sound, the music, as three fundamentally separate entities in a performance. The only thing that finally links them is the fact that they happen at the same space in the same time frame. But I don't enslave them one for the other, so I'm not going to make the light in order to light this choreography, and I'm not going to make the choreography to illustrate this music, etc. So I kind of work on the ideas and develop the process of lights or sound or separately. Then you put them together, and then of course they have a lot of things happening between them. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work, and then you have to kind of figure out what works, what doesn't work. But still, the process of keep on developing is quite separate. When I work, most of the time when I work on the choreography, I don't put the music on. When I work on the music, I don't look at the choreography, I work on the music. When we work on the light, I work on the lights. I keep on trying to understand what is the kind of light environment that I want. Costumes is kind of the same, but not really, because it's really related. In the end, it's really related to the dancers, like to individually each one of them. And I think that in this piece, in most of my work, but I think in this piece, the costumes are there in order not to be there. So I don't want the eye of the audience to stop on the costume and say, okay, why does he have this shirt, or what does this symbolize? Or so it's really wanting to avoid any kind of metaphoric or symbolistic approach to costume. So it doesn't say anything. It's just this person is dressed that way, and then it's like you see people in the street. You say, okay, maybe you think he's dressed nice or not. You like his stuff or not, but you're not gonna try to interpret it. There's no interpretation to be done with the costume. It's just those people and the way they are dressed. I guess we all, artists, but not only, we try to enhance our way of seeing things, the world, life, people. And for me, choreography, and basically what is choreography, is a kind of dialogue with people, yes, the dancers that are in front of me, that work with me, and then with the audience. It really is an amazing tool of enhancing the way and the clarity of seeing these things, seeing people, why they do things, how they do things, and trying to get some kind of understanding out of that more enhanced vision.